As these health concerns continue to spread, what better way to profit off of it other than to pledge assistance to nations that are already cash strapped, aka broke, and make a profit off of it? Let's talk about this. So I just came across an article. Wanted to share a quick thought, and so once again got a notification saying IMF and World Bank pledges to help countries to combat the health scare. I'm thinking like, wow, very timely. That now that the news is becoming very widespread and that more countries are impacted, what better way to get your hands into those nations other than to offer assistance? And so just reading through this short brief of an article, it left me with a lot of questions. And so, of course, IMF, World Bank, central bank, financial establishment institutions designed within the U.S. structure to offer, quote unquote, lending tools to nations that they're in the same predicament the rest of the world's in. Only problem is they're smaller countries that have no real economic usefulness outside of their natural resources, more than likely. And so just see an article where the IMF and World Bank is getting into the lending game even further at this current moment plays into more of my skepticism as to why this event is a very strategically timed event on the cusp of all the financial markets responding very negatively up until today. So as of Monday, it looks like the Dow's catching somewhat of a green upward trend. But once again, it's all artificially induced. And so it's one of those things where nothing's real at this current point. Everything's fake, and it's all designed to further spread fear amongst the people and to eventually shift more control and more power over to governments and institutions such as this. And so just to give you an idea what's going on here, it says the IMF and World Bank on Monday said that they stand ready to help, quote unquote. It says countries deal with the financial and health effects of the health scare, suggesting that a global response could soon be forthcoming. A global response could be forthcoming. I'd imagine it's already happening now. And then it plays into even more of the live stream I did yesterday, and where you should really begin asking yourself this question. If we're supposed to believe that it started in a fruit market from bats and whatever that we're been told, but yet since we didn't go to war, what profitable way to make a buck on the back of the governments as well as the people other than to put something out there that is a major health concern for the world at this current point and then be able to profit off of it? So once again, question everything. It says, quote, we are engaged actively with international institutions and country authorities, it says, with special attention to poor countries where health systems are the weakest and people are the most vulnerable. So isn't that great? We have IMF and World Bank so concerned with the poor and concerned with all the countries that are weak and not able to offer developed world health care. So all of a sudden now they're going to come in what it says here. It says we will use our available instruments to the fullest extent. So then once again, ask yourself, what are these instruments? And so outside of the IMF and World Bank, if you know about those institutions, the World Bank especially has shareholders. And so no shareholder or no person invests in a fund, whether it's a government, a corporation, or a person or whatever, without expecting some type of return. And so the question would then be, what type of return can you get from a country already labeled as poor? They can't make do on their current debt more than likely at this current point. Nevertheless, ever be in a position to actually repay that debt back. It's not possible. So what usually happens? Institutions such as the IMF and World Bank imposes austerity and eventually force the government to sell off some of the assets and the pennies on the dollar and then return the funds or the actual items or parts of the country or mineral natural resources and turn them over to the shareholders that own these corporations. So once again, IMF, World Bank out here helping people, not by coincidence, by design, to further profit off of countries that are already tied up in this debt-based monetary system. And it just leads to more of my suspicion as to how none of this is by accident. This is all strategically planned for this moment in time. And you got institutions as well as other individuals that will make a hefty profit off of this health scare. But other than that, what are your thoughts? IMF, World Bank, are you surprised at all? Curious to find out what you think? Leave a comment down in the comment section. Share this video once again or the article so that people realize that outside of the health concerns, there's also the dollar signs behind this. Who stands to profit the most? And I bet you the IMF and World Bank will come out a lot better than we could have ever imagined. Other than that, leave a comment. See you later.